To be here. We're trying something new. We're doing a vertical live this go around. Usually I go live like horizontally, like a regular YouTube video, but I wanted to try out this new feature. And I have the title of today's live on the video. I'm not sure where it shows up. Let's see. Let me see. Okay. Yes. So today, I am really looking forward to talking to you all about going deeper in your hair care and going past the products. And honestly, kind of going past the rules as well. Hi, Channy. How are you? Am I saying your name right? Channy? Channy. But yeah, I really just want to talk about how hair care is deeper than the products that you use, the rules that you follow, even the regimen that you build for yourself. The condition of your hair is a great way to see how you're feeling on the inside, whether that be emotionally, spiritually, like psychologically, or even just the health of your body in general. And I feel that we don't give that enough credit. We don't spend enough time in that space of how like your hair is really a reflection of your energy and your aura. Um, so yeah, so I have a couple of little things that I want to talk about. Yes, I'm well looking forward to the enlightenment. Okay, lovely. Okay, so one of the things, the reason why I even wanted to talk about this is because I had a few coaching clients recently who were asking about how do you find a stylist that you trust, like a hairstylist. And this also goes for people who braid your hair, people who color your hair, any professional that you're allowing into your hair. How do you find someone that you trust? And I am a firm believer in praying. I really think, not even think, I have seen from experience when I go to God and I talk about what I'm looking for in my next stylist, because I have had to move stylists a couple of times. Usually I'll let him know I want someone who honors me as a client and honors my hair. And as a result, I know they have to honor themselves. So I want someone who's professional, someone who's compassionate, someone who doesn't try to dominate my experience with my hair and they allow me to freely like be the expert of my hair, but you are someone who's helping me, you know? And whenever I pray, I am always guided to someone who helps me beautifully in my journey, who respects me, who respects my hair. I haven't really had a negative hair experience in a long time. I actually I have a video on my channel about like a really bad hair experience that I've had. But since that point, I have not really had a bad experience. Oh my goodness, the wind. Sorry, that actually scared me for a second. Um, so yeah, praying is really important because you never truly know someone's intention, but God knows. And you'll also know when you go how it feels. I also recommend getting a consultation with any new stylist that you go to, just so you have a chance to feel the energy out, feel them out before you allow them to like start touching your hair and start doing things. Because when you're starting with a new stylist and right away they're like working with your hair, sometimes you get into a space where you give your power away because you don't want to be rude and you allow them to do things that you weren't actually comfortable with or you didn't have time to really think about and like take the time to see if you felt good in the situation. So have a consultation first. Don't just jump in and like go all in with a new person. Um, and along with that, I actually am curious, like when you guys know your hair is needing something, how does your hair let you know that it needs moisture or protein or maybe a trim or maybe it's time for you to see a new stylist? Like, is it a feeling that you get? Do you actually like hear like maybe a whisper of a word? Like, how do you receive intuitive guidance about what your hair needs next? Because my next tip, it's not even a tip, it's really a lifestyle. My next practice that I do is I will also pray over what my hair is needing in this season. So, like, sometimes I'll start wash days and I'm not really sure, and I'll just talk to God, like, just let me know what I need to be doing. Is it protein? Is it moisture? Just let me know. And for me personally, I'll say that I do receive like words. Like I'll hear what my hair needs. I'll see a product that my hair needs. I'll be told whether or not I need to take more time or if I need to do something more simple today. Yeah, that's how I intuitively know what my hair needs. But I'm very curious if you guys feel that you receive any intuitive guidance around your hair. And if you do, how does it come in? And if you don't, just let me know that as well. So Tatiana says, I just cut my hair. I need to grow it back this year. Girl, you're on the right channel. I have so many videos. Actually, I just uploaded a video about how you can unlock your hair's potential and grow and retain your length. You're gonna grow your hair naturally, but how to retain all the length that you grow throughout the year. You may cut off like an inch, maybe half an inch to an inch. But I have a whole video on that. Let me know any questions that you have in the chat as well. I have grown my hair, if you're new here, I've grown my hair to tailbone length, to waist length, from a little teeny weeny afro all the way down to my booty. So let me know. But okay, so another way that I have found, I've been natural since I was 14. Ooh. I've been natural. No. I've been growing my natural hair for 16 years. I think I cut my hair off when I was like 15 or 16. I can't remember. But I've been growing my natural hair for 16 years. And something that I have truly discovered on this journey is that the way that you treat your hair is, it will show you how you show up for yourself and also how you sacrifice yourself. And this goes back to your hair condition is a reflection of what's going on inside. Something that I've found is that little habits that you have with your hair care don't just show up in your hair care. It shows up in your relationships with other people. It shows up in your goals. Like if you have a business or like dreams that you want to accomplish, it shows up there as well. It shows up throughout your entire life. And I'll be very honest and candid with my experience. Something that I have noticed is it was so hard for me to get on a consistent wash day schedule. Like I would find myself constantly when Sunday came around, constantly pushing it off. Oh no, I don't have time. Oh, like making up all the excuses. And then I would go 2, 3 weeks sometimes. And finally, when I sat down to do my hair, it would be so matted, so tangled. I'd be so frustrated. Honestly, I'd set my own self back from my goals because my hair was breaking off. And it was just like this very like push and pull, unpleasant experience. And I had to get really honest with like, why are you not washing your hair? You have the time. Why aren't you? And a part of that was because I felt at a point in my journey that like I didn't deserve to give that time to myself. So I felt like, no, I need to work. Like, let me go work on something in my business or let me go clean something around the house. Or just like I was in this very hyper productive just period of time where I wasn't really honoring the fact that I am both a person who can be like productive and also resting, and that's a good thing. I was very much in the masculine and not really honoring or knew the value of the feminine. And by becoming a mother, who girl, the feminine is so strong, it's so potent, it's so like expressive and it exudes a certain like energy and strength. But I have had to really hone that in now that I'm a mother. And I make it a point. On Sunday, I'm washing my hair. I don't care what's going on. I don't care. I don't care. Y'all gonna have to figure it out. My husband already knows on Sunday he takes care of our child. Even my baby knows mama's about to be in the bathroom for a couple hours. And I have to set that time apart for myself because when I don't, that next week, when I don't do my hair, my energy is off. I get more drained more easily. I'm more irritable. And like the energy that you're in, it really reflects within your household. It reflects within your relationships. It reflects within your life. And so just by me taking 2, maybe 3 hours to pour into myself, I'm able to be more productive. I'm able to add more light to other people. Things come more easily because I'm naturally in a better mood. People want to be around me. People want to help me. People want to engage with me. And that's what I'm really understanding. Like the feminine, or I don't like to call it that, but honoring a more receptive energy within yourself. And in order to receive, you have to first give to yourself. It matters. It really truly matters. And it's a part of the whole bigger picture. So Tatiana says, I've been natural since 2017. Okay, so that's 8 years. Congratulations. I just did another semi-big chop last month. Is it true dirty hair grows? Congratulations on your big chop. I love when women like make moves toward the life that they want and like you are unapologetic and also, what's the word? Like you're making a choice. Making a choice will change your life. You're making a choice to have the life that you want by letting go of what no longer serves you and that old energy. So I'm happy for you. Is it true that dirty hair grows? I think it's more so some people's hair grows when you manipulate it less. My hair is like that, to be honest. The less that I manipulate my hair, the more length that I'll retain. So it really depends, but also with growing healthy hair, you really want to make sure that your scalp is like a nice, how can I say this? A nice clean environment for like, think of plants. You want to give the plants fertile, healthy soil. You don't want the soil to be full of like bugs and depleted and dry and dehydrated. So it's not that dirty hair grows, it's that some people's hair really needs to be left alone in order to retain as much length as possible. If you have fine hair, things like that, usually, like strands that really break easily, yeah. Professor MJ says, thanks for sharing this. I'm the same with wash day, delay, delay, delay. Yeah, there's like, I had to do healing work around that because it was like a compulsive thing. Like, why are you doing this? You know, you need to wash your hair. And Myrna says, happy Saturday. Happy Saturday, Myrna. I'm glad to see you here. Okay, so I would love to know like what are some of the stories that you tell yourself about your hair? So for me, it was definitely like I don't have time for my hair. I'm just gonna have to figure it out. I feel like I had also like gotten used to figuring it out and gotten used to things being hard. So when I was in a place where things were actually easy, I knew what to do with my hair. I knew what products to use. I was making it harder for myself because I was just used to things being hard by basically like self-sabotaging. So that was a story that I was telling myself. But some stories that you might be telling yourself are you don't have the resources to buy the hair products that you need, or that you don't want to invest in hair products that are a little bit more money because you feel like it's not worth it. I think that's like a big one. Let me know. I personally feel like that's a big one for like a subsection within our community because sometimes people will say like, oh no, like the more affordable thing is like just the same as like something that you have to invest your money in. And as someone who has tried many, many products, let me tell you, you get what you pay for the most part. Like within this age of social media, people in the natural hair world know that they need to come with stuff that works. And what I found from using higher quality brands, or I should say, brands that cost more, like Sacred, Pattern, Kenra. What else are some good ones? Curl Origin is really good. Melanin Hair Care. I'm not sure if you would consider that like a more expensive brand, but just brands where you might feel like you're investing a little bit in the products is they last forever because you don't have to use a lot. They are so potent. You literally have to like reel yourself back when you're using them. Versus when I pick up something that's like five, six, $10 from like Sally's, not all of them, from Sally's or Ulta, I'm using a lot of product just to feel like my hair is moisturized. So in the end, I feel like you actually end up spending more money buying more affordable products or cheaper products, I should say. There are some good affordable products. The Dew, excellent. Camille Rose, excellent. Who else? I want to try Uncle Funky's daughter, but I feel like that one actually is kind of like more of an investment too. Tatiana says, protective styling too much. Tell me about that. The story that you're telling yourself is protective styling too much. Is it that you're not allowing your hair to be out? Maybe you feel like you don't know what to do with your hair, so you just constantly put it away. Let me know. Myrna says, I love my wash day, even when it takes all day. I recently got a silk press and I have heat damage. Oh no. Any suggestions, or do I have to big chop again? Help. You may not have to big chop again. So I would suggest doing I don't know your hair identity. If you can put it in the chat, that'd be helpful. Your hair strand thickness and your porosity. Those would be like the most helpful things for me to know. But I would say if you can go into like a hair intensive mode, basically. Right now, your mode is for the next like 8 weeks, you're trying to heal your hair. And the way that you can do that is by consistently using reconstructors. So a reconstructor is something that like builds the protein in your hair. A really great one is the Giovanni Reconstructor. The Sacred Reconstructing Hair Mask is so good. That honestly, like, I would say if you want quick results, I would use the Sacred one. The Giovanni one is pretty affordable. I think it's like $14 and it's very effective as well. The Apogee two-step treatment is also affordable. And I want to say there's one more, but I can't think of it. Those are my top three. And I would recommend using them. Follow the instructions on the back of the products because each of them have different directions. But for Sacred and Giovanni, maybe like twice a month, once every other week, use the reconstructor to help with like just giving your hair its strength back. And also, I would go see a stylist, especially if you're feeling like it may be like completely damaged and you don't want a big chop. I would go see a stylist. That way, they can recommend some bond building products to you as well. Um, but yeah, you may not have to cut your hair, but you do want to kind of go into repair mode just to make sure that you're doing all that you can to heal what you can, and then you may have to cut like the ends off. So Tatiana says, exactly. So you're protective styling because you feel like you don't know what to do with your hair and then you just constantly put it away. And I feel like that is such, I have honestly been in that same space. I'm kind of coming out of that where I felt like I was constantly in low manipulation styles, which is great for length retention. But then it also gets to a point where it's like you're not actually enjoying your hair. You're not having an experience of like freedom with your hair, because I mean, if you're doing it because you want to, then that's freedom. But if you're doing it because you feel like you have to, then that's when it gets to be like, it just doesn't feel as good. And I truly am starting to realize like being able to wear your hair in a way that allows you to just express yourself is a part of life. Like, I don't know y'all's backgrounds or how you grew up, but for me personally, I grew up within a situation where like survival was like the priority. There wasn't much talk about let's make things nice, let's romanticize, let's make it pretty. It was just like, no, we're surviving and we're moving on. And as I'm growing up, I'm truly understanding like that is not all that life is about. Yes, survival is like the basic level, but once you move past that, life is about enjoying yourself. Life is about experiencing things that make you happy, and that energy of happiness truly does like also create more. Like it's just as effective as working hard, being in a good energy. So being able to feel good about your hair will also reward you the same way that like productivity rewards you, or anything that you're doing because you feel like it's going to, help you survive. So Myrna says, somewhat thin, high porosity. Thank you for the recommendation. I will definitely pick those up. Okay, high porosity. Yeah. You might even be able to do the reconstructors a little bit more than twice a month. Just make sure that you're following them with moisturizing deep conditioners, and definitely go see a stylist. If you need some help finding a stylist, what I found is I like to find stylists work on Instagram, and then what I'll do is I'll search their followers for other stylists that they follow, people that they trust, and then I'll like, look into the work of stylists that they follow. It can be kind of difficult finding a stylist. Also, word of mouth is good. So if you can ask around with other people who have healthy hair, that's like my number one way of finding a stylist, honestly. But okay, so some other stories that you can be telling yourself. This is a good one. Being rough with your hair when it's in its most vulnerable state, or when it's damaged. And I feel like when you're rough with your hair out of frustration and annoyance, it's an indicator of how you treat yourself when you need like softness and gentleness and just a little bit more space and grace. I always say to my clients, when you're doing your hair, you want to have soft hands because your hair is a fabric. It's like, think of your hair strands as strands of silk. And the more rough you are with silk, it's going to get frayed. It's not going to look its best. It's not going to feel its best. And eventually it's going to snap. And that's how your hair is. Like, it's not something that can recover itself. It's a fabric. And so when you're hard and rough on this fabric, but you're saying that you want healthy hair, or you're saying that you want your hair to be at its best, like those are counterintuitive. So why are we being rough? Why aren't we being gentle? And that's something to really like sit with and think about. Like, why aren't you being gentle with yourself? Okay, so yeah, those are all ways, like the stories that we tell are all ways that we can betray ourselves, even though we're saying that we want a different experience in our life. And I'm a firm believer of like being honest about where you're contributing, especially if you keep saying that you want to experience a new thing, or just, you want to reach a certain goal, you want to have something, and you're consistently not meeting that. Where are you contributing to that? Is it your mindset? Because I'm gonna tell you, most of it begins in the mind. Okay, you can do the same list of tasks, but if you have the mindset of like this isn't gonna work, that's going to be your result. But if you do the same task with the mindset of I'm open to whatever happens, I'm hopeful that the best will happen, I'm excited for what's going to become of this, you're going to get a completely different experience. So Professor MJ says, my hair doesn't soak water in at all. It dries so fast or the products don't penetrate the strands. My ends are so dry. It kind of sounds like your hair is dehydrated, Professor MJ. Um, Dehydrated hair, dehydrated, or you have a lot of product buildup. When was the last time you clarified your hair, Professor MJ? Okay, so, um, yeah, so all the things that we're talking about, all the things that we're talking about, it can feel a bit daunting to try to move through it and to heal it, especially with what's going on in the world, girl. It can be a little daunting trying to remain on your healing journey through this. But something that I always like to turn to when I feel like I just can't is at least be self-aware. At least like when you feel your wash day coming up and you feel the excuses coming up of, oh, I'm too tired and oh, I need to do this, I need to cook, I need to go run some errands. Just be aware of it. Even if you don't wash your hair that day, just be aware of like, okay, I'm choosing to go do this thing instead of wash my hair. And I know that in a couple of days, like I'm gonna experience some things I don't want to experience, but just be aware. And eventually, as you consistently are aware of yourself making these choices that are completely misaligned from what you're saying that you want to experience, one day you'll choose something a little bit different. So maybe you don't wash your hair on Sunday, but you wash it on Tuesday. And maybe you don't finish it on Sunday, but at least you started on Sunday and you finish it on Monday. And then maybe like a couple of months from there, your friend calls you and wants to go out on Sunday and you pause a little bit because Sunday is your hair washing day. Being aware is so powerful, especially when you just feel like all you're trying to do right now is survive. When I was in like the depths of my postpartum period and I really felt like, girl, I'm just trying to tread water right now. I do not have the energy to do anything other than like the day-to-day tasks. Being aware of the things that I wasn't happy with, like it allowed me to at least see it. So when I did have the energy, I was already subconsciously making a plan of like what I would do differently. If you don't have the funds to buy the really expensive products, just go to Ulta and just look around at what you want to try and maybe write down 2 or 3 products that when you do have the funds, when you do have a little extra money, that's what you'll get. And then when you get the money, instead of just spending it without thinking, you'll have that little list in your phone app or on your computer that you can go to and purchase one of them. So being aware of it is very important. And I feel like in this society, self-honesty, it requires courage, it requires strength, and it requires self-discipline, and it's needed. It really is needed. If you want to see a change within yourself and eventually a change within the world, you have to be able to be honest with yourself. So, yeah, if you guys have any questions, put them in the chat. And Professor MJ, again, let me know the last time. When I say clarify, I mean like not a moisturizing shampoo. A clarifier is a shampoo that's meant to strip your hair of any product buildup, any like buildup on your scalp, any mineral buildup from like the water that you're using to wash your hair. It's a very, very cleansing shampoo. If you haven't had that in a while, that might be something that you want to look into doing and then implementing within your regimen at least once every 4 weeks. But yeah, so what made me want to make this live is because I was noticing some of the hair habits that I wasn't necessarily proud of starting to show up in like how I'm caring for my baby. And when I saw that, girl, I was like, oh, wait, hold on. What we not gonna do, what we not gonna do. I was at a point in my postpartum journey where like my hair routine just went out the window. Okay, we were just getting by. And I wasn't moisturizing my hair, but my child, I was moisturizing their hair. And there would be times when, because like it was my normal to not moisturize my hair, sometimes I just wouldn't moisturize their hair. And sometimes a whole week would go by and their hair would be dry. And I was like, wow, like this is not okay. Like this really isn't okay. And when you allow yourself to neglect yourself, to betray yourself, to sacrifice yourself, it becomes a standard that you like pass on to other people through your expectations or even through your habits with people that you're taking care of. And I feel like that's a clear connection to where the natural hair journey, even the natural hair movement, even like moved from, was people trying to heal from the negative experiences that they had with their hair because their caretakers or the people around them didn't heal their perceptions of curly hair. Do y'all hear that? It's the wind in the trash can lid just going like this. But anyway, they didn't heal their own stuff, and they were just inherently, like indirectly passing it on just through their habits, or directly passing it on if negative self-talk is one of your hair stories that you tell yourself, like my hair isn't pretty, my hair is too difficult, my hair is unmanageable. Like the people that you're around, you're teaching them that same energy. One, you're teaching them how to treat you when you talk down on yourself. You're teaching other people that that's okay. But two, any little kids watching you, any other people who want to go natural watching you, you're teaching them how they should go natural, how they should talk to their hair. So it truly is important to heal what's going on inside so that you're not repeating that same pattern for others, um, even if it is accidentally. I don't think I'm clarifying right. How many times do I wash the hair with the clarifying shampoo? Usually with the clarifying shampoo, you want to do it once, unless your hair is like super, super dirty, maybe twice, and like really, really dirty. But when you're clarifying, are you making sure you're emulsifying the shampoo down really well, using water to make it very lathery, so going through with your fingers, really sudsing it up, and then even letting it sit for like 2 to 5 minutes on your scalp and on your strands can be helpful. When I say clarifying, I don't mean like an apple cider vinegar rinse or like a natural shampoo. A lot of the times those aren't strong enough to fully remove product buildup. So I mean something like if something has sulfates in it, honestly, that's okay. But like it doesn't have to have sulfates to clarify unless you use silicones. I don't want to be confusing. So let me know if what I'm saying is confusing. But just something that resets your hair down to zero. When you get done with shampooing your hair, you feel like your hair is squeaky clean. That's what I mean by a clarifier. Gladys, we must intentionally model expected behavior. Yes, yes. And it's just like a plant, right? Like so there's been many studies on how you speak to plants and the energy you have around plants, like even like music that plants listen to. It affects how they grow, it affects how they flower, it affects the health of the plant, the longevity of the plant. And y'all, we're just like plants, okay? The words we speak to ourselves, how we take care of ourselves, the environment that we're in, the energy that we're around, all of it's affecting us, all of it. I think we like to feel like, oh, we're above it and we can like muscle through it, but no, you're taking it in. And even if you're taking it in and cleansing it off, it's still using your energy to like not fall for something that you don't want to continue within your reality. Hi, Devin. Hi, Charmaine. Hi, Devin. Yeah. But yeah, so when you treat yourself well, that becomes your new normal, and then treating other people well becomes normal. When I moisturize my hair every 2 days, of course I'm gonna moisturize my baby's hair, like just real quick, like because that's the normal. Like I wouldn't allow my child to go without when I'm receiving, or that even goes for my husband. Like say my husband wants to get his hair cut every 2 weeks. If I'm neglecting myself, I can inadvertently like talk down to that or minimize that of like, oh, why do you need that? You could just, and it's like, no, I mean, if you need to, you need to. But if, like I said, right now we're focusing on thriving and we're focusing on healing, if this is something that helps your energy and allows you to feel good and allows you to move forward, you know, you want to be able to encourage that. And so when you're encouraging it within yourself, you naturally encourage it within others. And then what's really cool is like, then you start to, it pours back into you. Like then people pour into you because they're treating themselves better. And it's just like this reciprocal flow of energy, you know? The good and the bad, we're giving it back and forth to each other. That's a good point, yes. And then also for my husband too, like I really want him to have a solid self-care routine because that's just something for our children to watch. That's just something that pours into our household. Like the steadier and firmer you are within yourself, the more you can help others. So Yeah. Yeah, that's basically it. If you guys have any questions, again, I would really like to hear, like, do you feel intuitively that you are receiving guidance on what you should do for your hair? Like, how do you know what to do with your hair? I'm really curious about that. Do you just follow YouTube videos? Is it something you just know because you've learned your hair? I feel like we have a connection with our hair if you pay attention, um, and if you really cultivate the relationship. You have a connection with your hair. Your hair will tell you everything you need to know. And I'm wondering, Devin, how do you hear from your hair? Do you literally like hear words, or do you have feelings? So yeah, thank you so much. I followed you and I like my hair. I love that. I love that. But yeah, so if you guys don't have any questions, I do want to say that for March, I have 2 coaching slots open where we will go deep with this. So with curl coaching, we talk about all the products, we talk about the techniques, the rituals, the routines, finding a professional in your area to support your goals. And then we also get into like the emotional side, the spiritual side. It's like it's a holistic hair care healing experience, but you also walk away with a full regimen, personalized products for your hair, and an understanding of your hair. Um, Pyrana says YouTube videos taught me how to pay attention to my hair. I love that. I really, really do. When I was trying to understand my hair, I would just sit there and just touch my hair and look in the mirror and just like listen. And it really, really works. Yeah, I know. I think that was something else I wanted to say. Sometimes with your hair care, how it can be a reflection, how the condition of your hair can be a reflection of what's going on inside. I feel like my hair will let me know about a problem before it becomes full blown. So I may not notice how I'm neglecting myself, or how maybe I'm like, let's see, what could be something? Maybe I'm really focused on like a work project. So for a week or two, I just kind of take my focus off my hair. Before I get too burnt out, or before like my body starts deteriorating, or I start like snapping on people around me, I'll notice in my hair, of course, like I'm not taking care of my hair, I'm not making time to pour into myself. And my hair is often an indicator of like small fires before they become big problems. Um, so yeah, listen to your hair. It makes it I am big into keeping shape. It makes it look full and more dense. I feel you. I feel like I really feel that. Once I taught myself and showed myself that I could grow my hair long, I really became more obsessed with like the shape more than anything. And now I'm like in between. I really love having a shape, but I also like having long hair. I wish you could have both, length and shape. I really wish you could. But yeah, you got to make a choice a lot of the time. I still look at your old videos from 2018, 2019, etc. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I'm excited to create I'm excited to create more like holistic content where we're talking about hair and also talking about like how this applies to your real life and how you can use your hair care to really just live the life that you want to live. I feel like one of the biggest goals of my life was growing my hair down to like my tailbone. And when I realized I could do that, I kind of felt like, if I can do this, what else can I do? And it just gave me the confidence to do so many other things. The same with my reading goal last year. I set a goal to read 52 books last year. And I need to do an update on that. I'll do an update really quick here. But I read 51 and a half books. And at first I was like, oh, I basically did it. You know, congratulations, yay me. And then I actually had to sit and think about it. And I was like, well, like, why didn't you just finish that other half of a book? And I also, that was a life lesson of like a pattern of mine where like I'll just do it. And at some point, just getting there is no longer enough. You have to like have the courage and the faith to meet the goal or exceed the goal. So that was also another life lesson. One, it taught me, yeah, I can read a book a week. And two, it taught me that success is really a choice. And sometimes we choose to not succeed. And why do we do that? I missed the 30-day lives that were done for 30 days straight. That was fun. Maybe I should bring it back. I don't know if I could do it every 30 days, you know, with a baby. Whew, child. But maybe like twice a week or once a week. I am a feeler too. Years of living with my natural coils helps with the intuition and understanding the effect of ingredients, helps me to know how to address what my hair is asking for. I love that, Gladys. Yeah. I almost say, like, I don't want this connection to be studied because it's our connection, but it is truly interesting. Like, it's truly interesting, especially when you're going through things within your life, and like how a lot of the times that's reflected in our hair, like whether we're cutting our hair, coloring our hair, or just completely switching up our style. Yeah, it's so interesting how we're connected intuitively. I set a goal this year to read more, no amount of books. I miss reading like I used to. It helps me pull away from too much social media. Exactly. For real. I feel like my eyes just get exhausted from looking at a screen, and I personally get exhausted energetically of just taking in so many different opinions. It's just a lot. It's overstimulating. So reading books, it was my self-care last year. Yeah. It brought me through a tough time. And I was reading for fun. I wasn't reading like, self-help books. I was reading, what was I reading? Not me forgetting, Iron Flame. I was reading that Dragon series. I was reading like romance books. I was reading, oh my gosh, Black Cake by Charmaine. I forget her last name. That's a great book. I was reading like fiction, and it really did heal me. And this year, my focus is mainly just reading from Black authors. Last year, I was just reading whatever. And this year, really, I just want to read from Black women. And when I tell you that has been healing me in a different way, like just reading a book where I can't even describe it. Reading a book where my experience is understood and felt, and it's weaved into the words, and I don't have to make the words work for me, or I don't have to think too hard of like, how can I apply this to me? Like things that only Black women get. And it's just like the background of the words, it's just really healing me, especially in this climate right now, y'all. So if you need some sanity, read a book by a Black woman. How do you keep up with motherhood in your business? I am figuring that out, but I feel like I'm actually coming to a good place with that. So, what I found is that I just can't do it how I used to do it. The way that I used to do it was like nothing else mattered but my business, which is why I could show up 30 days in a row on a live. But I've realized that I just have to accept that my priorities have changed at this point. Like my number one goal, not my goal, my number one priority is my child. Then, well, God, my child, me, my marriage. Like I've just had to understand that like things have changed. And so because of that, I have to make sure that if I need to do something outside of my child, I have to take the extra effort to do it. So something I've been doing recently is waking up early to do as much work as I can before he wakes up, because once he's awake, all we doing is running around, reading and playing and eating food. And then when he goes down for a nap, like I'll do like a little bit of light work, but then honestly by that time I'm exhausted, so I don't like to go too hard. But I'm just starting to understand, like, if you want to be a working mom, you have to get up at, I wouldn't say you have to, but I personally have to get up around 6, 7. I think I'm even gonna start getting up a little bit earlier so I can have more time. And this is a gradual process. It's not something I did like immediately. I had to ease myself into it. And something that I'm doing differently is also being okay with the easing. How sometimes there'll be times when you're like really, it seems like you're not being productive, but you are, because what I'll do is I'll just pray that whoever is meant to receive what I'm doing, that they find it and that they see me, even if I'm not being as consistent as I would like or as frequent as I would like. And then I just trust that God is working it out. I do what I can. And there'll come a time when like my baby is a little bit older, he doesn't need me, and I'll be able to do things way, more intensively in my business. And I'll probably miss this time when it was a little bit more lax. So yeah, I think just finding pockets of time where I can focus. Right now, my husband is helping with taking him to the park so I can focus on this. And then when they get back, it's going to be back to the motherhood thing, and I probably won't do much work for the rest of the day. So I hope that helps. Just know that the fact that you're even like doing what you can is enough. Whatever you can give for that day is completely enough. Do not overextend yourself. It doesn't help anyone. It makes it worse. Do what you can and then rest. Gladys says, I had an awesome experience last evening while setting my wash and go under a hooded dryer and simultaneously reading Katanji Brown Jackson's Lovely One, discussing her natural hair routine. Wow. Okay, let me look that up. I've never heard of that. Katanji? That's a really pretty name. I'm reading right now All the Black Girls Are Activists by Ebony. Let me make sure I'm getting it right. All the Black Girls Are Activists. That book, y'all, if you want to talk about changing your perspective of like self-care and how do I make time for myself? How do I not feel guilty for like just not feeling like I want to be go, 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 compulsive, compulsive. That book is amazing. It's so good. It's very healing. And you can even listen to it as like an audiobook from your library on the Libby app. It's really good. Okay, I'm glad that helped, W. Our first Black Supreme Court Justice. Wow. Okay, wow. Okay. I'm definitely going to read that this year, probably in the next like couple of months. Book. Thank you for telling me about that. Okay. But yeah, if you guys don't have any questions, I don't think I have anything else that I want to say. I really enjoyed chatting with you. I hope that this was helpful. If you have any, lingering questions, make sure that you either DM me on Instagram or leave it as a comment underneath this video. And yeah, I really enjoyed having this healing hair talk with you. And I hope that you continue to just grow and elevate and feel more comfortable and at ease in your life and with your hair. I love y'all. Have a good day. Bye. Thank you. Thank you.